Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. Hey, how do you organize a party in space? You plan it. Today, we're going to look at Space Marine Adventures Tyranid Attack, the 1 to 4 player game by Warhammer. In Space Marine Adventures Tyranid Attacks, 1 to 4 players are going to cooperatively work together to try to navigate a derelict Space Hulk, to complete a mission, and hopefully escape the Space Hulk with your lives. Now, there's a bunch of Tyranids that are going to try to stop you, so let's just hope that doesn't really happen. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up the game. So what you want to do is you want to take one of the boards. Now, there's 3 boards and they're double-sided. You're going to pick whichever side you want, doesn't really matter, and you're going to place it down on the board. Or down on put it on the table. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take one of the 2 docking platforms and you're going to place that next to one of the 4 entrance spaces that are on that particular section of the map. Okay, doesn't matter which one you choose. Makes it a little random every time. Then you're going to take the 3 bulkhead counters and make sure all of them are on the same side, which is blocked. Randomly shuffle them all up and then distribute those to the other 3 entrances. The Space Hulk is basically locked down until you complete the mission, and then you reveal which one's going to be open. All right. Then what you're going to do is you're going to deploy your Space Marine. So what every player is going to do is they're going to take a Space Marine and they're going to take a data card for that particular Space Marine, and you're going to place your Space Marine on any one of the 4 spaces that's on the landing zone. All right. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to infest the Space Hulk. Now, if you're playing this for the first time, you're playing Mission 1, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to open up the Mission 1 deck. The Mission 1 deck is going to have the mission card in it. It's going to have the infestation deck as well. Now, the mission card it might have some setup information for you. Otherwise, you follow the standard setup rules to the game. And so it'll tell you usually which counters, which Tyranids you're going to be playing for that particular game. Okay, and how you're going to distribute them. Most of the time, you're just going to shuffle them in, or put them all in the bag, pull out randomly, and then you're going to see 6 spaces on the board that are numbered 1 through 6, and you're going to randomly put one or put a specific one on each one of those spaces. Now, there's also 1 space on every map board, and that is where the mission objective is going to be. It's one particular icon. It's in the setup picture, so it's easy to see which one it is. All right. Now you're going to prepare the infestation deck for the first time. So you just basically shuffle it up and set it off at the side of the board, and now you're going to prepare for battle. So the last thing you're going to do is you're going to take, they have all of the special cards, and for every character that's in the game, you're going to draw 2 cards. So in a 3-player game, you're going to draw 6 cards. All right. Now, as a team, you get to choose which one of those 6 cards you're going to use. Every Space Marine is going to get 1 card, with the exception of there's one of them that I believe gets 2 cards, but it's like a frag grenade or a crack grenade that they can get as their second one. Okay, but you figure out which one you're going to get. Now, some of those cards are also specific to certain chapters. So, the Space Wolves can only have the Space Wolf card. Nobody else can have that. So if you draw that one, then you know who's going to get that one, or you may not choose that one at all. All right. Now, the last thing you're going to do is you're going to build the activation deck. Now, every Space Marine that's going to be in this game is going to have 2 activation cards. So if you're playing 3, you grab their 2 cards each, which is 6 cards, and then you're going to have 4 activation cards for the Tyranids. You're going to shuffle those all together, so it's nice and random, put it face down, and then that's going to be the turn order deck for the game. At that point, you're ready to play the game. Now, how the game's going to be played is you're going to basically draw the top card from the activation deck, okay, and that's going to tell you who's going to go. If it shows a chapter symbol, that particular chapter is going to be able to activate. And like I said, there's 2 chapter cards per Space Marine, so each one's going to activate twice per turn. Now, every Space Marine is going to have an action number. They're going to have a range, and they're also going to have a special ability that's specific to them, that's on their chapter board. And they're also going to have that one special card that you put off to the side. Now, that special card, you can use that whenever you want on your turn, but it's a one and done type thing, unless it says otherwise. So once you use it, it's out for the game. Okay. The ability that they have on their card, that can be reused, and that usually just kind of helps them along the way. So on your turn, you're going to use your actions to either move, or to complete the mission, or to attack. All right. Now, to attack, everybody can attack at a range. Other Space Marines don't block line of sight, but Tyranids do block line of sight. So you can't fire through them, but you can fire the one up front. All right. Now, every Tyranid has got its own special card, and it's going to tell you what you have to get, what number you have to get on a D6 in order to kill that Tyranid. All it takes is one hit, and they're done, unless it's the main Tyranid prime, the final guy. Okay. But otherwise, they'll just take just one hit, and they're usually dead. All right, so if it needs a 4, you just got to roll a 4 better, and you're good to go. Once you've spent all your action points, your turn's done, and then you're going to draw the next activation card. It might either be a chapter or it might be a Tyranid. Okay, if it's a Tyranid, then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the infestation deck and you're going to turn over a card, and you're going to do what it says on that card. Now, those cards are either going to be detrimental to the Space Marines, so it may make things harder for them. It may make the Tyranids, some of them, tougher for a couple rounds. Or what it's going to do is it's going to say you need to spawn on specific numbers, and that's those numbers 1 through 6. Okay. Now, if it say it's a number 2, what you're going to do is you'll pull a token out, and you're going to put it on that number 2. Now, if that number 2 is empty, you place a token, their turn's done, you turn over the next activation card. However, if there is another Tyranid on that space, then what you're going to do is you're going to draw a token, and you're going to place one in every orthogonal space that's adjacent to it or down a straight line until you hit a wall, or a Space Marine. If entire corridor is full all the way to the wall, you're not going to place any. If you hit a Space Marine, or if a Space Marine happens to be standing on that particular number when you draw it, then the Space Marine is going to take a point of damage. You flip his card over, he's now wounded. If he takes another point of damage, then he will be killed. Okay, so the objective usually in all 3 of the missions is you're going to have one location that you need to go to on the board. So example, mission 1, you have to go to one specific location. While standing in that location, you have to spend an action, and then you have to roll a 6 on the 6-sided dice. Okay. Once you've completed that, then what you're going to do is you take all 3 of the bulkheads, and you're going to flip them all over. 2 of them are still going to show as blocked areas. The other one is going to show as the way out. So then you take the second dock tile, you're going to place that in that location, and then now what you have to do is you have to get all of your Space Marine players out of that particular, the Space Hulk, and down that corridor. Now, as long as one of your Space Marines can manage to escape the Space Hulk, you will win Tyranid attack. Okay? Now, what do I think of this game? All right, so I am a super, super huge Space Hulk fan. I have been playing Space Hulk since the day it came out. I have pretty much every version, multiple copies of every version, except for I think second. Okay, but I absolutely love the game. I learned how to paint by playing Space Hulk. I just love it. I'll play it today. I'll play it anytime. I will never turn it down. I love playing multiplayer. I love playing 2-player. It is just a great game. When I saw that this was Space Marines, and I've played Space Marines in Space Hulk, but when I saw this was Space Marines on a Space Hulk, I was so excited until I played it. This is a very basic game. The Tyranids don't move. They don't ambush you that much. They don't do anything other than spawn on a number spot. And, well, if it's filled, then you just kind of move them down the line. So it's a puzzle that you got to figure out is, okay, where's the mission card? I set my guys up and I move them around. And basically all you have to do is just try to keep the Tyranids under control. And hopefully the bulkhead isn't on the backside of a long corridor of them, and then you got to try to escape from them. So it's, I played a few of these box games. I don't mind them. They're fast. I think this is a 30-minute game, 45-minute game, if that. But they're just really rules light, and they're not what they're not what I'm looking for in a game. Now, I'm not saying that this is a bad game. It's just a very simple, very basic, very easy to learn and play game. I think it took me 10 minutes to learn how to play this game once I got it set up. And I think I finished my first game inside of 45 minutes. I had played some of these games before in the past, so there is kind of a basic theme to them. So it wasn't hard to really learn the game based on that. But that's what it is. It's like I said, it's a very light game. it's kind of an entry-level game into the world of Space Marines. I mean, from this game, you can maybe go on to some of the other games. You can look at Space Hulk. I really wish they would do Space Hulk expansions, but you can look at Warhammer 40K stuff. I mean, there's so many different avenues you can go down, but this kind of does give you that little bit of a lore. It's going to give you some Space Marine figures. You're going to get 5 different figures in this game, and that's about it. So, I don't know. It's, like I said, it's a light game. It's a very simple game, in my opinion. It's very luck driven, because if you start in one corner and the exit's in another corner, and you keep drawing cards that just massively fill those corners, it's going to make it almost impossible to get through. Can you do it? If you roll a lot of 6s. That's basically how it's, or a lot of maybe 4s, hopefully. But that's basically what's going to be it. Now, one of the things that I find that's interesting, and this is kind of cool, is not to really give away any spoilers, but they do have a campaign, which does make this game harder, and that wasn't too bad. Now, what it is there's 3 missions in this game, and what it does is it combines all 3 of the missions. Okay, so you start off with mission 1, and what's going to happen is once you complete mission 1, all of your Space Marines, when they get off of that dock, then they're going to be in a set order. You make sure you leave them in that order, and you make sure you leave all of their cards exactly the way they need to be. Then you're going to take mission 2, and you're going to set up mission 2. So you're going to figure out what board you're going to put, but then you put that on the dock with the first Space Marine that went out. So basically the first one that went out is going to be the first one into the next area. So they're basically going from room to room, or section to section to section, so to speak. Okay. Now, the one thing you do get to do is every Space Marine is going to get another special card. So even if they haven't used theirs, you try not to use them if you can, because now you can carry them over. Because in mission 2 and in mission 3, the infestation deck gets a lot harder. Now you're activating 2 spaces, or you're activating 3 spaces, so the board's going to fill up that much faster. So it's kind of a speed game in that as well, so you need to move through the Hulk as fast as you can. Now, once you finish mission 2, and if you can complete that one, and you can get everybody out, okay, then you do the same thing. Grab mission 3, put a new board down, set it all up, complete mission 3, and as long as one of your Space Marines can get out of there, then you'll actually win the campaign. So it's not hard to set up. It's not hard to learn. To do all 3 of them is going to be a little challenging, because that trying to take that one group through 3 separate missions, that's going to be really hard to do. And that's probably the best way for me, in my opinion, to play this game. Just to play a single one-off mission, that's not where I want to go. But since it's a 30-minute game, in 2 hours, including setup time, I can play through all 3 of these missions, and I'll have a decent good time. Okay, I can play the solo, or I can play with up to 3 of my buddies, or just a couple. We'll have a couple people, couple Space Marines apiece. So there you go. If I'm going to rate this, I'm going to rate this game at about a 6. It's an okay game. If somebody wants to play it, I mean, I'll play it. I may also suggest something that's maybe a little bit different, but I'd still play it. So it's a good entry level game into the Warhammer lore. So there you go. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. We please ask you to leave a comment on YouTube, on Facebook, on Board Game Geek, and also on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We also please ask that you like us on Facebook, on Board Game Geek, and on X. And we also ask that you subscribe to us on those platforms as well. And also, ladies and gentlemen, if you appreciate the content that we leave you on this channel, we humbly ask that you leave a tip. Say, what do you call an astronaut who farts in his suit? A gastronaut.
The cardboard game now is sturdier. Sturdy like a big sturdy girl with good sturdy blood. You know, let's not talk about that. There's a lawsuit pending right now. But the point is, you know, it is very big, and the big figurines, they're not so mini anymore. They're big like that. Oh, boy.